Alright, we're live on Twitch. Check the YouTube. And we're live on YouTube. Good, well, treats today. We're going to watch this debate between the Militant Vegan and Shawn Baker. It's about an hour long, so I'll watch the whole thing. Just going to start off with a bit of Fast Action Network. I'll pop the link to this in chat so that you can join in if you want to. Oh, nice, Poe. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I haven't seen this debate before, so I understand it's total vegan victory, though. Shawn Baker, my interest in this is because Shawn Baker is one of the people in the Merchants of Doubt report from the Changing Markets Foundation. He's actually one of the only ones who hasn't blocked me at this point. So that report also talks about Frederick Leroy, who has blocked me, and Frank Mitloner, who has also blocked me. So Shawn Baker's, one of the last guys standing on that report, who I might be able to have a conversation with. I haven't reached out to him at all or tried to do that, but yeah, I saw that he did this debate against Militant Vegan, so I thought I'd check it out. It's going to be a bit of a treat today because, I haven't watched this debate, but I understand Militant Vegan wipes the floor with him, so a nice little treat for a Friday. Just get through a bit of Fast Action Network. We're on a 7-week streak. I guess that is the whole year so far. Hey, there's my guy Tristan King. Grinding on the Fast Action Network. It's action.thehumaneleague.org if you want to join in. Yeah, I guess we've done every week this year so far, so if we keep this going, let's see if we can get a 52-week streak. That'll be... Then we've made it. Unilever is the big target at the moment. A lot of Unilever actions on here. Hey Jason, good to see you. Her to you as well, my friend. Let's go. Unilever's got to be one of the biggest consumer brand companies in the world. So hopefully we can get through to them. Another broken egg. Is this really the name of the... Okay. Has 100 locations in the US, really. Weird one, but okay. We've got a few petitions on here. Yeah, we'll get through a little bit of Fast Action Network, guys, and then we're going to watch the debate. It's not a particularly new debate. It's been out for about a year. And I've seen clips from it before. But I've not seen the debate itself. Oh wow, that was easy. I guess I'll do all the petitions real quick. Then we'll watch. Okay, I guess I just have to do the first bit of these. Right, last one, and then we'll crack on. Whoops. Sign petition. Action.thehumaneleague.org, guys. Gotta do a bit. Boom. 422 points, 7-week streak. Egg industry mogged. Alright, let's get into it. We got a few people here on the YouTube, my usual one over on Twitch. Hello, Twitch viewer. I appreciate you. So let's get into it.
All right, welcome. Today we have an interesting guest. This is Rafaela, the militant vegan, and I guess Rafaela, I guess let me ask you, what is your hope to have with this discussion here? As you know, I'm not a vegan, obviously, and apparently you are, and so what do you hope to achieve today?
Yeah, my hope to achieve with my activism in general is to make people aware of the plight that animals go through, the animal holocaust that is going on, the ethical rights violations in treating animals as objects that we would never do upon humans.
Why is his audio so shit? He's got this expensive mic. I guess he doesn't know how to use it.
We treat animals as if they are simply commodities, and that is not okay. And I would like to awaken you, and especially the people listening to this debate later on, to your contradictory stance in using animals as slaves when you would never do that to humans. I, as an animal rights activist, see veganism as our moral baseline and animal rights as the logical extension to human rights.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, and I certainly understand your point. I think so, and I know there's I can see the perspective for sure. Let me ask you a question.
They've actually got the same mic. Why is his audio so fucking cooked? He's got all the gear and no idea, I guess. I've been there, my friend.
Why do you think all humans aren't vegan? What do you think's going on with that? Why haven't we? I mean, humans have been on the planet, arguably, Homo sapiens 200,000 years, humans 3 million years. We've hunted animals.
True, Jason. He needs more carbs so his brain works properly.
We knew we were killing them the whole time. I mean, it wasn't like it's new. I mean, we've always known we've killed animals. We've always chosen to eat them. We developed agriculture 12,000 years ago. We had the option maybe to go vegan back then, perhaps. And yet we continued to do that. And even today, 97 to 99% of the people in the world still continue to eat meat. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, so you as a doctor know that we are opportunistic omnivores, and we have always been that way. So when times were rough, we have been eating more meat, since vegetables and grains couldn't grow as well, and vice versa. And our dietary tract has evolved in a way.
Also, water bottle mogged. Look at that puny water bottle.
That we can take nutrition from dead animal bodies and their excretions, but also from plant-based diets. So why isn't the world vegan is asking a question like, why is the world still racist? Why don't all women have rights? It's an evolving and an interference of tradition, of habit, of culture, of fascism. People want to be part of a group. People don't want to reflect what they've done, the mistake.
Yeah, as if his first thing was, we've always done this for a long time. I really haven't seen much of this guy, but I kind of expected, well, let's not judge too soon, but I expect him to be somewhat intelligent. He's an MD. but we'll see, I guess.
Mistakes that they have done upon others, and they don't want to be like the mirror of guilty conscience to their friends and family. It's very uncomfortable to learn that you have been growing up with a lie, that the whole system of our society
True, Andrew, and welcome. Good to see you.
Fundamentally stands on animal slavery. And it's weird to realize that you two are petting dogs but shooting cows in the head.
Andrew Furness in chat is the third purchaser of the Vegan 2.0 merch. We've sold to me, my mum, and Andrew Furness, so I appreciate you, Andrew.
That the whole system of our society fundamentally stands on animal slavery. And it's weird to realize that you two are petting dogs but shooting cows in the head, even though there is no ethically significant difference between these two groups of animals, and it's nothing else but racism. So it really is a matter of moral awakening that we have to put through the masses to show them that speciesism, so the slavery of animals, is nothing else than the slavery of humans used to be, and therefore the same question I can ask in any other form of moral.
What's worse, this guy's audio or his video? Like, it's filmed on a potato and speaking into a cucumber. Oh, I recognise this. This is what Militant Vegan had when I saw her on the tube that time. And she told me off for eating McDonald's before I told her it was a vegan one.
Moral success story, moral plight that we've been going through, discrimination. Why have we been using black people as slaves? Why are we now using animals as slaves? Where is the ethically significant difference that you would say, okay, this would probably be wrong, but we still do it with cows? It's a societary mistake that you are taking part in. So I would like to ask you at this point, Shawn, where is the ethically significant difference that allows putting cows in chains and using them as slaves, but not humans?
Okay, well, that's quite a mouth. That's quite a bit there. Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, I know you said racism, and
Oh, interesting, Jason. This guy surrendered his New Mexico medical license in 2017 following a New Mexico Medical Board investigation. The action was prompted by failure to respond to board inquiries, failure to report a change of address, and questions regarding his competency to practice, necessitating a clinical skills evaluation. Yeah, okay. Oh, so I guess he's no longer an MD, huh? It does strike me as this person shouldn't be dispensing medical advice if in fact their advice is to eat almost exclusively red meat.
I guess you correctly said speciesism, I suppose. Just to be clear, I mean, all races have been enslaved. I mean, there were white slaves, black slaves, Chinese slaves, Japanese
Yes,
slaves.
that's true.
Slavery has not
Yes.
been unique to any particular and perpetrator. I mean, everyone has enslaved everyone, so that's pretty clear.
Yes.
Well, let me just sort of answer your question, perhaps with a question. So, if for instance, well, I mean, do you feel there's any appreciable difference between?
Not with an answer then. There's some level of self-awareness at least. I mean, the first point is just irrelevant, right? I think Militant Vegan does the right thing to just say, yes, it's true immediately. I guess in his mind, he's speaking to like a loony lefty who's going to want to insist that it's a racist thing exclusively and so on. But he brings up all races have enslaved all other races, like it's clearly not relevant to the point that you're meant to be discussing here.
Between a human and an animal.
Of course, there's differences, just as there are differences between you and me. You're a strong, heavy man. I am a female, but none of these differences are ethically significant in the question of who I may use as object. We are both people who have the right not to be enslaved. So why doesn't a cow have that right?
Okay, but I mean, ultimately, we're talking about life and death here. So let me just pose this question to you. If you were driving down the highway at a high speed and you just happen to notice that there were two creatures sitting in the road. One's a small child and one is a bunny rabbit.
I mean, what do you think she's going to say, mate? This is such a dumb line of questioning. What do you think she's going to say in the situation? Yes, you would obviously kill a rabbit if there was a choice between killing a rabbit and killing a human child. But that is not the choice that you actually have. You just have the choice to kill a rabbit or not to kill anything. Like, what? Does anybody think she's going to be stumped by this? Go, actually, fuck, yeah. What would I do? I don't know. I guess I'll stop being vegan now. Like, who thinks this is clever, or like, what does he think this is getting at? Is this going to be the strategy? Just ask silly questions and try and run down the clock? Or maybe he's never really spoken to a vegan before and doesn't. Maybe there's a genuine question. It's just so dumb. It's so not. It's indicative of a lack of understanding of the other person's position, right? Can you imagine if she came into this debate and said, well, would you, if you only had vegetables available, would you rather eat vegetables or starve to death? Checkmate, carnivores. Like, it's no, she wouldn't say that because she understands she's not an idiot, right? So let's see where this. I mean, we know where this is going.
Rabbit, and you have to swerve one way or the other. Is there anything that compels you to swerve one way or the other? Are you just blindly whichever way it goes, whatever happens, or would you intently miss the child and kill the rabbit?
Yeah, so a couple of things. First of all, I would like the audience to know that Shawn has evaded my question of asking for the ethically significant difference.
True. Yes, very good. Point that out. Is just answered with 2 questions so far and not even pretended to address the point
so far, but we still have
I'm trying to define the difference between
you haven't yet answered, right? That I will come back to it. I just want to let you know that you have dodged the question so far.
Point taken. I've evaded so far, but I want to get
I just wanted to hold that for everyone, just so I don't lose the string of thought here. The second part is I will answer this question, but before I answer it, I would like to state that this is a false dichotomy when it comes to discussing veganism, because in my everyday life, I don't have to decide would I rather eat the bunny rabbit or the human baby. I can decide to send neither to the slaughterhouse. So this isn't the question that I'm asking people to decide to rather slaughter the human. I'm asking you, why shouldn't we just not slaughter both? That is the question. However, if I am fair enough, I will engage with this moral experiment.
I think she's being charitable here, really. I mean, very good answer. First, to point out you've evaded the question. Second, to point out that your question is a false dichotomy. Now I'm going to answer your question. I think she'd be well within her rights to say, no, you answer my question. I've asked you a question. There's already a question on the table. You don't need to be asking me a question. Right, she's going to answer as a bit of good faith here, but I think she'd be well within her rights to refuse to answer. I love her energy, though. She just goes and goes, hey. She's so high energy, Militant Vegan. I really, really like this person.
It really depends on the individual. So if, for example, the baby is baby Hitler and the other is an innocent baby rabbit, I would swerve towards baby Hitler and fucking...
Okay, that's even better than my answer. All right, fair play to her.
Massacre that baby, because that would probably stop him from killing all the Jews and doing the Holocausty stuff, you know? So it depends on the individual. If we have a vegan world, and I know in the hypothetical scenario that you're bringing me here, that this baby will grow up to be the most effective vegan activist, stopping hypocrites like you from slaughtering baby cows, and the bunny is just a bunny.
True. Vegan 2.0 is saved from brutal slaughter by Militant Vegan.
Just a bunny in quotes. Then I would swerve and kill the bunny. But we can play with all these levers. Have a 99-year-old with cancer, human on one side, and a little dog. And I think even most humans who have never engaged with this line of questioning with veganism as an ethical stance would probably save the little dog instead of the 99-year-old who will die the next day from cancer, who isn't even sentient anymore since cancer has eaten up their brain. So,
oh my God, I wish I had it in me to get this level of worked up. You know, I thought earlier she's like the female Joey Carbstrong, but now I kind of think Carbstrong's got nothing on her. She's so good.
Like I said,
this is like a perfectly appropriate level of indignance, by the way. We're like 7 minutes in. She's red in the face, as one really should be. I don't know why. I don't yet have it in me to get this animated and passionate. Maybe it'll come. But I think this is totally appropriate if you think about the reality of the scale of what we're talking about here, and just the stupidity with which this guy's interacting with it.
We can play this game. It depends on the individual. It does not depend on the species, but on the characteristics that come with the individual in this line of questioning. However, like I said, this is not the dichotomy that we are facing in everyday life. We don't have to go to the supermarket and decide, will I shoot the cow or will I shoot the human? We don't. Why are you shooting cows if you would never shoot humans? That is the question, which leads us back to the question that you've dodged before. Where's the ethically significant difference between humans and animals that allows holocausting animals but not doing the same thing to humans?
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, in the split second it takes you to swerve, you're not going to know if it's Hitler or if it's 99 years
Dodge.
old or anything like that. But I mean, so I mean, there's some sort of intrinsic gut.
Yeah. So you dodge. Sure, you're dodging. Are you going to answer, or are you dodging, or are you going to answer?
No. Okay. So just restate your question so I can.
Yeah. So where?
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't listening the whole time. Don't even know what the question was. Brilliant. He's just talking then, huh?
Where's the ethically significant difference between humans and non-human animals that allows enslaving, raping, and holocausting animals, but not humans? Where is the ethically significant difference?
Okay, well, I will say, what is ethically different that I would kill and eat an animal and not a human, right? That's I guess that's the basis.
Yeah, that's the question.
Right?
Yeah.
I think humans and animals are different. I think they're
right. Shawn, that is not answering the question what the exact difference is, the ethically significant difference is. Like I said, and I think anybody who's watching this video can say, you are a man, you have great broad shoulders. Wow, he's wearing a t-shirt with this kind of text. I'm wearing a t-shirt with that. I have funny little ears on my head. We have differences, you and me, right? But we also have similarities. We have stuff in common. Like, if I punch you, you would probably say, ow. If somebody punches me, I would probably say, ow. We don't want to hurt. We both feel the same.
Yeah, that's right. This is Name the Trait, which Ask Yourself has popularized this method of argumentation, right? Name the trait between the human and the animal, which justifies killing one for food but not the other. Do you think it makes sense? I somehow doubt it, Poe. The first answer was... Well, actually, the first three answers were just dodges. And the fourth answer, the first time he does actually answer the question, is they're different. Wow.
Same way, one could metaphorically say we all bleed the same color. So the reason we give human rights is not because we have exactly the same skin color, you and me, or because we have the same heritage or we speak the same language, but because we realize that humans and not depending on these characteristics that are obviously not significant, the skin color, the culture, the sex, have a right not to be enslaved. Now, if we give that right, no matter the sex, no matter the height, no matter the skin color, why wouldn't we give that right? Just because they are born in a different species, when the trait that is important is if they feel, right? So where's the ethically significant difference?
How do you know they feel?
Do you have Shawn,
that sort of thing?
We're gonna take a breather now, because you're calling into question if animals that you eat feel. I would just before you go on making yourself to a full-on clown,
I'll be interested to see what she says to this, because there's like it's not a smart comment, but you do have this, like the philosophical zombies question, right, where you don't really know that any person except for you is conscious. It could be the case that everyone else is just a robot, right? Now, obviously, in the case of humans, we apply a precautionary principle and say, I won't kill and eat them, just in case, right? It's likely that other people are thinking and feeling, or even if you think that it's not likely, right? There's a precautionary principle applied. So yeah, it's philosophically, I don't think you can prove that anybody else besides you is conscious. I mean, you can appeal to things like having similar brain structures, reacting to stimuli in predictable ways, which suggests consciousness, learning, right, ability to learn, stuff like this all suggests a subjective experience. But yeah, I mean, this is just like, does he really doubt this? Is this a good faith doubting of whether animals feel anything? Or is it just wasting time, obfuscating, try and run down the clock? I wonder if this guy has a dog. That'd be a good way to go with it.
Animals ethics.
Are you seriously ethics? Calling into question that the dogs that you have that snuggle up on your lap, that they feel?
No, I'm not asking that they can feel pain or sense things. I mean, all things can, even plants can.
No.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is clown territory already. We're not yet 10 minutes in. Okay, we're a little over 10 minutes in. This is clown territory already, though. He's not sure if animals can think and feel, but he's pretty sure that plants can. I mean, come on. This is the example that I give for cognitive dissonance and motivated reasoning. Like, outside of a conversation about veganism, would anyone ever claim to be unsure if animals can think and feel, but pretty sure that plants can? If you weren't talking about veganism, everyone would look at you like you're a lunatic. And I have to say, whenever I give that example, I'm always like, I've never actually heard anyone do both of those things in quick succession, so maybe nobody is actually that stupid. But maybe Shawn Baker is that stupid.
Plants can. They have no central nervous system. We have no reason to believe that just because something reacts to stimuli, just like your phone does, Shawn, can therefore have sentience, have desires, have interest. But even if you want to call that into question, if plants feel, that is no reason to put animals into slaughterhouses when you would never do that to humans. Now, please, let's not call into question if your dogs can feel or if the cows that you put in your face hole can feel, because I believe that you know they do. Now, where's the ethically significant difference between a feeling cow and a feeling dog or a feeling human that you might eat the one but not the other?
Where can I acquire these power levels? The cows that you put into your face hole. Is this just through practice that she gets so good at these turn of phrase and also so concise and cutting? Is this through practice or is this natural talent? I don't know. She's very, very good.
So obviously animals eat other animals, and I'm sure you've been posed this before. And
imagine having to argue against this person. I'd be bricking it. I'm not gonna lie, when she confronted me on the tube, if you haven't seen the video that I made about this, before I ever knew who this person was, she was on the tube with her picture of the slaves and everything, and some people were asking her, or like pointing out about it, and she starts arguing with these people on the train, and I was eating McPlant, one of my favorite meals, as you guys know. But it was quite new at the time, and she saw me, and she started going to me, "Look at you with your fucking McDonald's." And I was breaking it. I was like, Jesus, no. I was like, speaking, I promise. But yeah, she's a scary one. I think she's fucking based as hell, though.
And why don't those animals care? Why don't they care?
So you're dodging the question?
No, I'm just asking.
So you're...
Wait, what?
The one, but not the other.
So obviously animals eat other animals, and I'm sure you've been posed this before. And why don't those animals care? Why don't they care?
So you're dodging the question?
No, I'm just asking.
So you're dodging the question?
I'm very happy to eat animals. I'm very happy.
So you're dodging the question, Shawn. We're not gonna. This is not gonna work if you're simply dodging my question.
Very good meta to be pointing out what's going on in the conversation, right? She says several times, "You're dodging. You're dodging." It's very easy to let people get away with that or get distracted by their line of questioning. But she's very on the ball, keeps it tight here. Give him way too much credit, yeah, true, Po.
answered your questions. I went down your hypothetical, even if it made no sense. I answered your false dichotomy. I did. I gave a lot of explanation to that. So now stop dodging the question. You promised me at the beginning that you will not dodge this question. Where is the ethically significant difference between a cow and a human that justifies killing them but not them? Where's the difference?
Yeah, hey, welcome, Greta. Yeah, true. I'm going to have to watch more of Militant Vegans debates after this, I think.
Where is the difference? Well, animals are clearly different than humans. I mean,
where is the
ethically? A cow is different than a pig. It's
you are different than me,
fish.
Shawn. We are different. Can I eat you just because you're different? A woman is different from a man. A black person is different from a white person. Can I eat black people now?
Well, the difference is significant enough to me personally that I'm comfortable eating them.
Okay, Shawn, I'm gonna mirror your logic now.
That's ever walked the planet.
Shawn, I'm gonna mirror your logic now, okay? Hear me out. I'm gonna be here and yeah, I'm gonna say, Shawn, I am eating black people. I am getting them all stuffed into these concentration camps, and I'm taking away their titty milk after putting my arm into their rectum to impregnate them with a rod into her vagina, and then I'm stealing her child from the black woman, and I'm stealing that milk that comes out of those juicy tits, and I'm also taking the eggs from the male black people, and then I'm slicing them up in the Holocaust chambers after gassing them like 40 million pigs alone in Germany every year, or I'm shooting a bolt in their head, and I'm gonna eat black people. Would you stop me?
Well, that's illegal. That's
would you,
illegal,
Shawn?
right? Yes, I would, because
this is not a legality debate. This is a morality
animals,
debate. Okay,
right?
so you would stop me from eating black people?
Well, I don't know if I would, but I suspect it would be stopped because
you
illegal,
would at least
right?
okay. You would at least, if you had the choice.
I would support you being stopped doing that.
Okay,
yes,
awesome.
Okay,
so now I'm gonna mirror your logic, and I'll ask you how that
again,
feels.
Animals are different than people.
Now I say, but so Shawn, listen up. The black people, for me personally, there's a difference because they have a different color skin. You understand? And that difference, for me personally, is large enough to justify enslaving and eating them. Does that make much sense in your ears?
With regard from one person eating another person? No, not.
Okay.
You know,
no,
I
used your logic. I used your speciesist logic.
Is he gonna say prions? How long before he says you should get health issues from eating other people?
And
No, you use racist logic.
Exactly. That's exactly the point that I'm trying to make. Speciesism is racism towards animals. You know, a sexist says, oh, it's just a woman or it's just a man. It goes in all direction. Racist says, oh, it's just a black person, like I just did with your logic. And a speciesist, like Shawn Baker, like you, says, oh, it's just a non-human animal. Oh, but we can't eat your dogs, right? No, Shawn wouldn't eat his little woofy woofs. He loves.
Love the resources as well. She's got all the images to hand. She had the fist up the rectum image. I think oftentimes you really need the images to make the points. Picture speaks 1,000 words, right? And she's just got them printed out nearby so that she can show them. That's a real good move.
His woofy woofs, but the pig and the cow, bah, they're just fucking slaves. They're different enough for me.
Let me put up. Hang on. I would eat a dog. I would eat my dog if I was forced to.
But you know, look, this is not a question of if I was forced to. If I was forced to, I would eat you even though you look disgusting. If I was forced to, I would eat black people even though I'm not a racist. But this is not a question. You know, you're opening up a false. You're opening up. This is an appeal to an emergency situation that you're making right now. We are not in this emergency situation. Nobody's forcing you to go into the supermarket and eat your dog or eat your cow. You are choosing, you're even paying money for a system of slavery and racism, of speciesism. Now, why would you do that to animals but not to humans?
Such an irrelevant answer. I would eat my dog if I was forced to. Like, surely even as you're saying those words, you realize, oh, I'm saying something fucking stupid here. Shall I finish this sentence? I'm actually saying something fucking stupid here. I wonder if he realizes this or no. Is this stupidity or bad faith? Because in one verse, I think he's looking at the clock. All right, 15 minutes. We're just going to run down another 45 minutes. But in another version, he really thinks that he's got her. Well, I actually would eat my dog if I was forced to. Veganism destroyed.
And better question yet, why would you only do that to the livestock, but not to your little doggos? Where's the ethically significant difference between these groups?
No, I don't think there's an ethical significant difference. I think there's a practicality.
But this is an ethical question.
Hang on, Raphael. Let me answer because you're no one can hear. I mean, it doesn't do any good if we shout over each.
Shaking hand. See the shaking hand?
I don't think there's an ethical significant difference. I think there's a practicality.
But this is an ethical question.
Hang on, Raphael. Let me.
He's nervous.
Let me answer because you're no one can hear. I mean, it doesn't do any good if we shout over each other. So I think that the reason I don't eat my dog is, well, I like my dog and he's useful. He has a use to me outside of a food use. He's a companion. He's alerts things. I mean, you think about it. Why did humans adopt animals as dogs as companion animals? They helped us to hunt, for one. They're very, very good at hunting. That's why we had a symbiotic relationship with dogs. So there's that. Well, let me further finish the point. So dogs, in many ways, are not ideally suited for producing meat, right? I mean,
that's not true.
There are better
the whole
choices.
Asian
They don't
room.
grow as fast. They don't provide as much meat. It may not taste as well. Although I've heard some people say dog is actually
delirious.
Really good.
That's delirious.
No, it's the truth. That's the realities of agriculture.
Well, no. Well, they have so many dogs. I mean, you probably have heard of the dog meat festival. So a big room of Asia and even in Switzerland would beg to differ on the question if dogs
in Switzerland, really? I never heard of that.
Are meaty or not, and I guess the usual dog has more meat.
There's people that eat guinea pigs and rabbits and things like that.
Anyways,
and there's people that eat crabs, and there's people that eat shellfish, and there's people that eat all kinds of things.
Dear Shawn, you will not derail me here. So you said for the name the trait argument, name the ethically significant trait where you're not eating your dogs, but you are eating cows and other animals. You said because you like them and they're useful. Now I, mirroring your logic once again, say, I don't like you, Shawn. I don't like your whole family. I don't like all these people, and they're not useful for me. Might as well put them in a slaughterhouse and butcher them up. Is that okay for you?
Well, wouldn't it be okay? I mean, you can try.
Would that be okay, yes or no? Would that be okay, yes or no?
Well, I was really pleased with myself with that one, hey. Oh, you can try. Try it. So fucking cringe, honestly. Wouldn't you be embarrassed to follow someone like this? Imagine if this was your guy that you're looking up to, you're liking their posts, you're sharing their posts, you're talking to your friends, yeah, I follow this really base dude called Shawn Baker. And then you saw this, you'd be fucking embarrassed, wouldn't you? Oh no, I fucking put my name next to that guy. And he's a fucking moron. Ah.
Not for me. No,
okay, so you have a contradiction, right? You have a contradiction here, right?
Did you ask a dog and ask them what they thought about that?
Shawn, do you realize that you have a contradiction here? If you say that the trait that allows you to eat other animals because they're not likable by you and they're not useful to you, and I take that trait away from other beings, like humans, for example, that would allow me, mirroring your logic, to eat and enslave these beings, these human beings, because I don't like them and they're not, and you said no. So you have a contradiction here. You realize that?
Yeah, I draw the line in human species, right?
But you have, okay.
It's like if you're
but
human,
you realize,
you're
okay,
good, I'm not going to eat you outside.
Shawn, that is a new trait. A new trait has entered the chat. Welcome, new trait. It's the human species trait. Okay, so first of all, we can together realize now, and the audience too, that liking and usefulness is not an ethically significant difference to eat the one but not the other. I think we have all...
Who says that? Who says that? Why,
you yourself have just now said... You yourself have just now...
I think it's a very appropriate thing for an animal.
Yeah, you yourself...
So humans are a different species. That's the species I am. I am morally and ethically against eating humans. I am not morally and ethically against eating animals.
Does he realize he's even changing his answer here? He seems to think that he's being consistent. Yeah, this is what I said all along. She's really seeing through the matrix and able to boil down the essence of what he's saying and give it back to him. And he is just not following. Man, I would hate to have to debate Militant Vegan. I'm gonna have nightmares about this.
Right, I know. That's
as
Shawn.
are the vast
Shawn,
majority of humans that have ever walked this planet, right?
Shawn, that is the reason why we're here. I don't know if you have noticed, but that is the whole question of the debate that you just phrased in a sentence. Why you would eat the one but not the other. So yes, I realize that you're against eating humans, but for eating animals, for some at least. We know that already, but never mind. You can catch up a bit later. So we have together realized that liking and usefulness alone is not an ethically significant trait to eat the one but not the other.
Who says?
Because you have run into a contradiction because you wouldn't allow me to eat humans that I don't like and are not useful to me. You said
you
no.
asked me why I would eat a cow and not a dog.
Yeah,
humans
exactly.
are a different story. I mean, it's totally different. I can.
But that was your ethically significant difference between pets and humans. So But that was your ethically significant difference between pets and humans. So
he's got kind of busted teeth as well. They're a little bit mean to comment on. Is this like some sort of nutrient deficiency from not eating any vegetables? Yeah, I can say it. I'm British.
Sorry, pets and livestock. So that would have to apply to humans too. Right. Okay, so I can ask you the bigger picture again. The bigger picture.
Humans are unique.
Okay.
Right?
How are they?
We alone can rationalize, right? That we are.
Not all humans.
That's why you accept a lion eats a zebra. You're okay with that.
I'm not okay with
that.
that.
Doesn't have enough conscious.
No, I'm not okay. I'm not okay with that.
Humans do, right?
Yeah.
You're not okay with lions eating zebras?
No, but you had this exact same discussion. You had this exact same discussion. No, I would stop the lion from eating the zebra if I could.
How would you do that?
Yeah. That is not the question. This is a moral.
How would you stop a lion from
debate.
eating a zebra?
I cannot, but I would.
Oh my goodness, it's so dumb. How would you do that? If you can't describe how you would fight a lion, you've lost the debate. Like, where is his mind? Why did he agree to this debate, first of all? He's clearly done no preparation and has no idea what her views are, and has no answer to the question. Why would he agree to do this? He's really just exposing himself to a complete moron. We're 20 minutes in and there's like at least 5 times already I've had to just stop and comment on how fucking stupid he is. How would you do that? Why is that relevant to the discussion? How would you fight a lion? If you can't tell me, veganism destroyed.
Would if I could, but right now I can stop this lion in front of the microphone from murdering cows.
Stop me.
So yeah, because you're a dogmatic who doesn't listen to rational arguments, which comes back to you said humans can rationalize, so it's not okay to eat humans, but it is okay to eat animals. Now, if your ethically significant difference between humans and other animals is because humans can think rationally, then I could be eating you because you can't think rationally. Now, may I send all other people like you who
True, destroyed. Hello, Voldemort's turban. Nice to see you.
Can't think rationally into the slaughterhouse and eat you?
Go ahead and try. You can try.
Can I or can I not? Could you stop answering like a stubborn 12-year-old? Can I or can I not send non-rational human beings into the slaughterhouse?
No, you cannot.
Okay, now you have a contradiction because you said the ethically significant difference why you would spare humans but not animals is because we can think rationally, but the animals can't. So I might as well kill humans who can.
Yeah, second contradiction on the name the trait. This is brutal. This is brutal. Imagine being in this debate and looking at the clock. Oh, only another 40 minutes to run down. Like, Jesus.
Can't think rationally, you said not, so you have a contradiction here. Do you realize your contradiction?
So what do you think?
Do you realize your contradiction? Yes or no, Shawn?
No, the contradiction is in 2 different realms. It is the difference between an animal and human. I think it's significant enough to warrant not eating humans.
And I'm asking you for the millionth time in the last 20 minutes, where's the ethically significant difference? So far, you've said liking and usefulness, sparing your dog at least, and the second and And the
That's not
second
the
thing,
difference between
and the
humans
second thing was that humans can rationalize, but animals can't. Now you have run into a contradiction here too. So you realize that you cannot hold the position of sending animals to slaughter. Okay. Where is the ethically significant difference that justifies enslaving, raping, and
holocausting? The ethical difference is that
animals,
I believe that humans are significant enoughly different from animals.
Yes, Shawn, I know. That's why I'm here, but you have to tell me what the ethically significant difference is. What is it? Name it. Tell me.
There is an ethical difference between killing a human and an animal. That's
right. So
different.
Where's the ethically significant difference?
Brilliant. Again, just fucking brilliant.
Difference that justifies killing and eating the one, but not the other. That's the question.
Okay, one is an animal, one is a human.
Right. So that's a circular definition. That's a circular
definition. That is my definition.
Let me once again mirror your logic to help you understand what you're saying right now. The way you use logic here.
No, I know what I'm saying.
You're asking me, Raffaella, you're asking me, Raffaella, why don't black people get to vote in your country? And I say, well, because they're black people. And then you ask me, okay, but why are white people allowed to vote but not black people? And I say, well, because there's an ethically significant difference between white people and black people. The one are white, the other are black. Would you think that that's a sufficient answer? Or would you think, Raffaella, you didn't answer the fucking question, you fucking racist?
No, I think that all humans deserve basically the same level of consideration, right?
Shawn, that was not the question. Shawn, that was not the question. I asked you if you're trying
to anthropomorphize animals, right? You're trying to turn animals into humans.
And you're turning them into fucking hamburgers. So yeah.
You're wearing cow ears on your head like you think you're a cow. You're not an animal.
You think you're a doctor just because somebody gave you a medical degree. So why do you think that your logic works doesn't work when I'm applying it to the realm of skin color, right? Species wasn't even a matter of question here. I was putting in the skin color using exactly your logic, and you see that this is a circular answer, circular definition. I'm asking you for a ethically significant difference between two groups, group A and group B, and you're saying because A is A and B is B. That is not giving an answer. Black people don't get to vote because they're black is not a sufficient logical. It doesn't work. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I guess he decided to not interrupt her and say, well, actually, I've had my medical degree taken away, so destroyed once again.
So obviously, my view is not, whatever my answer isn't sufficient for.
But do you understand what a circular definition, a circular answer here is? Do you understand that logical fallacy?
Well, you're trying to make a hypothetical situation as if humans and animals were the same thing. I disagree.
So are you dodging the question if you understood that? No, I'm just gonna have to think that you are illiterate when it comes to the term of circular definition. You don't understand that, right?
I understand circular logic, but what I will tell you is this is
so you understand that this circular logic, when it comes to thinking about racism, wouldn't work. So why would it work when it comes to speciesism?
It sounds like he's getting ready to rage quit. I mean, clearly it doesn't. There's another 25 minutes or another 35 minutes to go. This is a pointless discussion at this point.
I understand circular logic, but what I will tell you is this is
so you understand that this circular logic, when it comes to thinking about racism, wouldn't work. So why would it work when it comes to speciesism? It doesn't. You see, this is a fallacy.
Because humans and animals are different.
Okay, now once again, let's just say you conceded that a circular definition doesn't work, and you're in fact just dodging the question and making yourself look like a clown, but whatever. Great having a doctor who answers questions of ethical value where it comes to life and death and holocausting with a circular definition. Good on you, Shawn. Congratulations for that. So
let me ask you, hang on, Raphael, can I ask you a question? You say
we're not finished here.
Your name is the Militant Vegan.
Yeah, we're not.
Voldemort's turban. Did you get here by searching for Shawn Baker by any chance?
Finished here. Yeah, I would rather spare you the embarrassment of ad hominem me now. So the speciesism part, let's go and say that, okay, they're so different because they have a different species. Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you could use. Yeah,
okay, let's say I have a little gadget here. and it's my DNA-o-meter, okay? This is a DNA-o-meter. So I'm gonna use it here now, and it goes beep, and it says, oh my god, shit, Raffaella isn't actually a human, she's a reptiloid alien being.
Well, nice, Voldemorts. Don't forget to subscribe, like the stream, everyone. Listen, the reason that this person in the chat says she fails to understand morality is arbitrary, and she's also arbitrarily sets moral consideration to non-human animals based on them being sentient. Well, it's based on them being sentient then, right? It's not arbitrary in that sense. So if you can have an animal which is not sentient, then yeah, she would probably think it's okay to kill and eat them. Sentience or consciousness really is the only answer that makes sense in Name the Trait, and it's unfortunate from the Carnist perspective that is going to be something that's present in almost all animals.
I didn't know, you didn't know, fuck, I'm not a human, it says.
Likewise, yes, for animals, for humans as well, right? If you had some non-sentient human, then clearly there's no issue with killing them. Right, if they're not sentient, they don't have a subjective experience.
I didn't know, you didn't know, fuck, I'm not a human, it says here. Can you send me to the slaughterhouse now?
I don't think you're a reptinoid.
Can you send me to...
Well, we'll see where that goes if he says it's based on species.
Can you please not dodge?
Right?
It's so embarrassing, Shawn, please. Well, can you send me to the slaughterhouse now?
You mean because you made up some silly story about you being a reptile?
Can you
alien?
send me
Is
to
that
the
what you're trying to do?
slaughterhouse now, Shawn?
All right, let me ask you a question.
You asked me, I could say, oh my god, it's such a silly hypothetical. You put a bunny on the street and a baby. That doesn't ever happen. It's so silly.
Let me ask you a question.
Why is that grown man asking me such silly questions? Should I have done that? Would that have been very intellectually honest when you're testing for logic in a debate? No. If you engage into hypothetical...
Damn, that's why she answered with no fuss. She knew he was going to come up dodging hypotheticals later, so she has to answer his hypothetical with no fuss, even though he was already not answering a question from her at the time. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is bad faith on his part.
And I answer them for you, then I beg you, Shawn, use your fucking brain, use a bit of your intellectual capacity here. Now, I am, beep, not a human being, I'm a reptiloid alien. Can you send me to the slaughterhouse, yes or no?
So,
yes or no?
Yelling
yes
and
or no?
obscenities
yes or no?
and being
yes
loud
or no?
and screaming
yes
is
or no?
probably not
yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no, Shawn?
Here's what I would ask you. Okay.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Okay.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Shawn, please. It's embarrassing. You know, criticizing, tone policing. Oh my God, she's yelling and obscene, blah blah blah. You're literally not engaging in the dialogue. That is embarrassing. Why are you not answering the question?
It's screeching. It's screeching. It's not dialogues.
Beep.
Okay.
Beep.
Okay.
Look.
Look,
I will quit this. I will quit this. I will quit this debate. I will quit this. I will quit this debate if you're not answering my question. And it's just intellectually dishonest. It just
Dan, he would love that. Don't.
shows that
You'd answer yes, Voldemort. All right. Well, there you go. You're allowed to have that view if you want to, I guess.
you're running. You've already had 3 contradictions, 1 circular definition, mirroring your logic that would also have led and did lead to a contradiction. Now we're at the point of species. Now I'm testing for DNA. I've asked you the question. This was the ethically significant trait that you brought forward in defense of your Holocaust, your fucking...
Thanks for the heads up, Retta. I'll bear that in mind. We'll see how long this person lasts.
Slavery of animals. Now be so kind as to answer this question. Would you send me to the slaughterhouse if I were an alien, not a human? Yes or no?
I don't know. You know, that's an interesting question. If you're an actual alien from outer space,
would it be okay if I were a human, not a human?
I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that. If it were truly true, if you were actually an alien,
let's say it's truly true. What would you base your thought process on when it comes to saying if Raffaella here is food for the masses, or if you can put my arm in your face hole? What would you depend that question on?
Okay, so I guess I'll play along with this sort of
awesome. Great, Shawn.
All right. So if you were an alien,
Yes.
maybe you're an advanced race and you had something valuable for the human species, maybe you could help us to
I don't.
solve new
No,
problems.
I don't.
Adding in a load of stuff that's not entailed.
Just look great in cow horns. That's all.
So you're saying you're not a human, and you are like, let's say you're like an alien amoeba or a slug from another planet.
Nope. Nope. She's her in this hypothetical. She looks the same and can speak to you. Looks like a human for all intents and purposes is clearly the situation. Oh, let's say you're an amoeba or a slug. Like, what a... It's just been brutally owned for half an hour straight so far.
Oh, I'm just me. I'm just here. Look. Alien.
So you can
alien.
talk, and you can talk to me, and we can have a conversation, though, right?
Where I'm just me.
Okay,
I'm just an alien.
Okay. Well, if you present as you do, and you can talk, and you can have a somewhat rational discussion, I put the quotes around somewhat.
Yeah. Back to you.
Then I probably would be disinclined to want to eat you, right? Based on what you're able to do right now.
So would it be?
Uh-oh. So is that the third contradiction? Fourth contradiction? So we got two species, and now we have a case where we're talking about a humanoid of another species, and no, he wouldn't say it's okay to eat them.
Wrong if somebody... What would it be?
Even
Can we get to 6 in the hour? I think that's at least 3 so far at half an hour, with the second on 20 minutes. Has there been another one since then even? But to have racked up so many contradictions in a short space of time, and to have actually conceded on several of them as well. How is he not embarrassed by this?
even though your DNA is slightly different or alien,
Awesome.
and you are able to
Great,
do the things
great,
you can do that appear very human,
Yeah.
then I would be disinclined to eat you.
Awesome.
Right?
So would it be right if somebody else tried to eat me? Would you defend me, or would it be okay if somebody else said, I want to have an alien burger?
I would probably, well, I mean, yeah, even though, yeah, I would probably, if someone were to attack you in front of me, I would try to defend you.
Awesome. Awesome. Great applause. Right. Shawn Baker is not a psychopath. Thank you so much for not biting this bullet. However, it does run you into a little bit of a contradictory problem here, because you said that the species difference is what matters. So since I am not of the human species, Homo sapiens sapiens, that would, following your logic and the elements that you said until now, that the species is the relevant factor, allow other people and you to holocaust me. But you said no, so that's a contradiction. It's a kindness. Thank you so much for defending me and my alien people. But why the cow? The cow suffers just like me. The cow can maybe not rationalize as much, but maybe the cow can rationalize about as much as you. So why would you eat the cow but not me? We can both suffer, you know, we're both kind of alien, we're both different. It's a contradictory thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, we've been going on this point for quite a long time here, but I mean, the basic line is the cow is significantly different enough from me that I am comfortable eating it, and that's my justification.
Okay, so
I don't think he's tracking. Like he said this just different from me so many times, and then backs off the entailments when she explains it to him. How does he keep going back to that and thinking that it's okay? I mean, when you're in this kind of situation, you realize you've got nothing and you're trying to run down the clock. I just don't think he's tracking or following what's going on. He either knows he's got nothing and he's just trying to run down the clock, or he doesn't know. He thinks that he's giving good answers. He's probably torn somewhere between the two, right? Where he's kind of occasionally realizes that he's fucking lost. But I guess he doesn't have anything else to say, right? What else can he do? He can just concede and hang up, I guess, is the alternative.
It's morally wrong or ethically wrong. that's fine. That's your opinion. We're all entitled to opinions, right?
You know, Shawn, violence is not an opinion, and violence needs a justification. If a racism comes up and says the black man is so different from me, I can't see myself in them, just like you can't see yourself in a cow. I get that. You can probably see yourself like in a pit bull or whatever. Then that's the same logic. Just because I'm thinking that they're so alien to me, to use that word, that's not a justification to slaughter them if they can still suffer. You know, I'm an alien. I present as a human. Let's say I stand up and suddenly I have like all these squiggly legs and I have tentacles all over the floor. I wouldn't be very much like you and the humans that you know. Is it then okay to slaughter me? I'm not very similar to you and your family, am I?
Certain alien with tentacles and all kinds of, you can still talk and have a conversation and think and that type of stuff. Is that right? Yeah,
I can still suffer. That's the important part, you know? Imagine I couldn't talk. Imagine like you were having this conversation. I was just accidentally hit some buttons and I accidentally tapped myself into the Carnivore podcast, and I am a cognitively disabled alien but I still suffer. I still go like, Shawn, and I can still recognize you. I wag my little tentacle because I'm excited to be with you on this show, and I can suffer. I don't want to be hit. I go when you hit me, just like a human baby would go, but they're excited to see you, like a cow is excited and want to lick your little hand, and your dogs are excited. Can you then eat me if I'm like this cognitive disabled tentacle alien thing?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer.
What?
To that. So
you would eat me? You would eat me, Shawn?
Let me just.
True, Jason.
Shawn, no. I can suffer.
Raphael, do you care to advance this so we can get into a couple other topics, or are we just going to stay on this one?
Yeah, no. I mean, if you say that you would not eat me, then you would once again have a contradiction, because I would be very dissimilar to you. I'm not a human.
Hey, Raphael,
sorry. I have to sum this up. If you want to go to something else, Shawn, I want to make clear to you that you have.
Yes, there's contradictions. I'm very happy to accept that I've made contradictions.
But
I don't
if
care.
you are making contradictions,
okay. Is this going to be a concession?
And you're happy with that, then there is
I'm fine with that.
Shawn,
I'm totally fine with that.
Shawn,
I'm fully fine to be contradictory. I think the significant difference between animals and humans is enough that I'm happy with.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Militant Vegan. Does he realize that is that then? If you say that you accept contradictions, you can get to anything. There's no truth in anything. You'll accept anything. Does he realize this or no?
Any contradictions that
Shawn,
I make, okay? Let it be clear that
Shawn,
if you think you're winning because I made a contradiction in your mind, I'm totally conceding that, okay?
Shawn.
Okay. Okay. Bit weird that he says, if you think you're winning, because I've made a contradiction in your mind. Like, he's hedging. So I guess he does realize he's over the cliff edge here. Made a contradiction in your mind. You just said that you accept that you made a contradiction.
Shawn, I just, before we go anywhere else, I want to make clear the weight of saying I'm fine with my contradictions. If I were to go and be a racist and you showed me, Shawn, it makes it even more embarrassing. Let me explain to you once again the weight. Let me just...
I'm embarrassed.
Keeping talking over. This is a great little... fucking 40 IQ screen grab for the thumbnail there. That face is a good summary of his argumentative abilities in this conversation. Keeping talking over the person and not letting them finish a point is also a good indication that you realise you've lost. You can't let the other person finish and explain their point. Just got to keep talking over them, got to keep interrupting them, got to make it muddy the water, just make it look like a shit show. I think he realizes he's lost at this point. His face.
Okay. if I am a racist and somebody explains to me that there is no ethically significant difference just because of the skin color, and I go ahead and I whip the black people that I call slaves in front of me, and I say, yeah, I know the skin color doesn't really matter and that they can suffer, but it gives me so much lust and great times to be doing this. I don't care if I'm doing a contradiction. I don't care if I'm an ethical racist bastard to them. I don't care if I'm a murderer. That's the you're in the mental state of a racist rapist abusing other people. These are nothing else but other people in different bodies, just for your satisfaction, for your greed, for your joy. There is no good reason to do this, and not with them. They feel the same.
For just a second, can I make a point for a second? So you pointed to the cow and say this is a person, which I fundamentally disagree with. Which I mean, maybe you don't. Maybe you think cows are people too.
Of course they are.
And so forth.
Just like your dogs.
Well, okay.
Your dogs have interests. They have favorite toys. They have favorite people.
Okay, we have different perspectives. Clearly,
is a dog a person?
No, a dog is not a person.
What is a dog? A dog is an individual with feelings and interests.
A dog is a dog.
And a human.
I'm not sure if that's a language thing. I probably wouldn't use the term people or person. To me, that seems synonymous with human. I don't think you need to say that. It could be a language barrier thing. I'm not sure.
Human is a human, an individual with feelings and interests, with desires, and who can suffer.
A subjective experience, sure. Yeah.
Is sentient. That is the definition of a person, and there's no reason why we should only.
What she said, the definition of a person?
Individual with feelings and interests, with desires, and who can suffer and is sentient. That is the definition of a person, and there's no reason why we should only call humans persons.
Okay.
But not these other animals.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on. That seems like an odd definition to me. I don't think that you need to say that animals are people in order to say that they have a subjective experience and they have desires and hopes and fears and they can feel and have pain and so on. If anything, it's going to be one of these things that takes the debate off track a little bit.
I feel a bad pun, but we beat this horse to death. Okay, let's go.
Person equals personality. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say that animals have personalities, I guess. That still seems a little bit weird to me. Dolphins are legal persons, is that so? Someone has a personality. All right, well, maybe I'll think about that. Yeah, I mean, that's true. It is just semantics, true.
You're the only one who's beating animals to death here. You can you did the same. Great. No, you did the same thing with James Aspie and Nick, where you said, "Yeah, I can see this is a contradiction," and the boys let you off the hook. I just want to make clear to the whole fucking audience here, if a grown fucking ass man like Shawn Baker here says, "Yeah, I'm running into a contradiction. You're right. I'm fine with that." That is the debate terms for, "You're right. I lost the debate. You're right. Okay. My ethical standpoint, I cannot."
Look, Raphael, I'm happy to say I lost the debate. I don't really care.
Shawn, that.
Well, there you go. There you go. Any Shawn Baker fans in chat? That's as clear a concession as you can get. I actually, you rarely see someone actually say, "I lost the debate" like that. And he says, "Okay, I don't care. It's not that important." Like, that's a classic, okay, just downplaying the significance of that. They've entered into a debate. He's run into at least 5 contradictions, 5 contradictions. Didn't seem to appreciate what that actually means. And now he's saying, "I've lost the debate. I accept that." Pretty clean fucking victory. This was a total domination. Total vegan domination. If anyone watches Shawn Baker or likes Shawn Baker or thinks that he's a smart guy, I would urge them to watch this full debate, because he has just by his own admission been destroyed.
That's
I'd like to make some value out of this discussion. Look,
Shawn,
I'd like to get more of your perspective on other things, if you don't mind.
I think it's been pretty valuable, honestly. If anyone was coming into this under the illusion that Shawn Baker was able to hold his own in an argument against a vegan, I think anybody who's paying attention has been thoroughly disabused of that misconception. Just says, I lost the debate, admits to several contradictions, cannot seem to track where the conversation's going, cannot work his expensive microphone.
One more thing. If I concede and I realize I cannot hold my position, and my position is slavery and murder, that I cannot justify what you have just conceded.
That's fucking so true, 3. Welcome, by the way. Yeah, he's saying he lost the debate because he feels like he won because he's calm and she's not. Yeah, those could be true. But saying that he's lost, admitting to several contradictions, I mean, I think anyone who understands how debates work is going to see that he's been destroyed here.
Conceded to, what you have just seen your contradiction in, that is what your words mean. That is the weight behind them. And I don't change according to my new information. That is the definition of ignorance and stupidity, of fascism and opportunism.
That's fine. Okay,
let's easy to be fine with a situation when you're not the one who's standing at the fucking slaughterhouse, Shawn. Then I can always say, I'm not the one being whipped. I'm fine with this situation. Yeah, I'm a contradictory racist rapist, but who the fuck cares? I'm not the one who's being shot up. It's not my family standing there. You're contributing to the greatest ethical emergency on this planet, to the slavery and the Holocaust of the animals, and you piece of shit put your arms there and say, yeah, I know, it's a contradiction. Anyways, Raffaella, what's your opinion on your name? Militant. So aggressive. Okay, Shawn, now what's your great next question?
Okay, so I was going to ask you what the reference to militant vegan means. What is that? Why did you choose that
name? Yeah, I called myself.
That's immense. How did she do that? When she was saying that, I was thinking he hasn't brought up her name at all, but then he literally just does it next breath. Oh man. Do you think after he gets off this call, he more thinks of himself as a moron or just a piece of shit? I wonder. I hope he's watched this back and reflected, because this is not just somebody who eats meat and is responsible for that portion of it, right? This is one of the top purveyors of disinformation designed to increase consumption of meat. So this is not just somebody who's being complicit or somebody who's responsible for the number of animals that they eat. This is like a pro-meat propagandist who's not only killing the animals that he eats and increasing the number of animals killed for other people to eat, he's also increasing the number of people dying early because they believe his propaganda about eating lots of red meat and that's going to be healthy for you somehow. I have some friends who watch this guy, and it makes me angry because I think my friends are going to die earlier now because of this guy's misinformation. That's fucked up. He's like putting out disinformation into the world that's going to result in primarily young men like me dying early. And he can turn up to a debate and say, yeah, there's contradictions. Yeah, I lost the debate. Yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, it's not really that important. What a piece of shit.
Militant vegan because non-vegan pieces of crap were usually referred to vegan activists who raise their voice for the animals. Militant and aggressive, even if we aren't as passionate and temperamental as I am from time to time, because they find themselves in a situation just like you where they cannot defend their ethical positions, so they start to call the vegan names and take them and call them aggressive and extreme, when in fact you are the ones being the only militant here. Militant means going for something using weapons. My weapons are my words. That's pretty much all I'm using, and it gets people so fucking
Raphael,
triggered.
Hang on. Let me interject here. I'm just trying to get out the point that you would not choose to be violent towards other people or anything like that. Is that fair to say? Or
Well, if you're kicking a dog, then I would push you away, but that's
okay.
extended self-defense.
But I mean, you saying that everyone's an animal abuser is not vegan, so everybody that eats meat, because we all know animals die. I mean, it's not a surprise. No adult doesn't understand that animals are dying to eat meat. We all know that.
But still you do it. That makes you a terrible adult, right?
Well, I mean, that's in a matter of opinion. I mean, I think it's something that...
Yeah, that's my opinion. Wouldn't you think that people who torture and enslave others for the sake of tradition and taste are bad people?
Well, I mean, it depends what your definition is.
Well, I asked you for your definition.
Let's look. I eat a lot of cows. You're wearing a cow hat.
I think this pretty much is the definition, right? Torturing and enslaving others for no good reason. Is that a bad thing? Well, it depends on your definition of bad. I think he knew that was a bullshit answer. Let's watch it again.
Well,
I think he knows his bullshit now. He's already conceded to losing the debate at this point.
I mean, it depends what your definition is.
Well, I asked you for your definition.
Let's look. I eat a lot of cows. You're wearing a cow hat. I appreciate that. I've been to cattle ranches. I've been to feed yards. I've been to a slaughterhouse. I actually, as a physician, as a combat trauma surgeon, saw a lot of human suffering and death firsthand, right in front of my face. Right. I lived that. I experienced it.
Jesus, if only I were a doctor too and would have lived through that too.
Right.
Wow.
Well, let me finish my point for a second here, because you've been obviously talking most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it is important that we realize, that there are clear differences here. When you say that every human on the planet outside of the 1% to 2% that is vegan is a murderer and a rapist and an animal abuser, and you'd like to do violence upon them, perhaps. And I'm not sure if you're actually...
I didn't say
didn't say that. Didn't say that. Oh, that's all right. He added perhaps. So that's all right then.
That
you would, because
I didn't say that.
Okay. Well, you said you would. If someone was kicking a dog, you stop. That's what just for the record. But if you think that I'm doing violence on animals because merely because of the fact that I eat a steak for dinner, then that would be your definition of worthy to do violence upon, or is it not? Would you say it's okay for me to eat a steak, or would you just, if I was there actually physically slaughtering the animal? Or what about a hunter? A hunter's out in the wood, he shoots a deer. Is that person worthy of you attacking them because they're hurting that animal?
Oh yeah.
So worthy of and wishing it would happen to them. If you dislike someone and somebody's torturing part of your family, then you certainly don't wish them to win the lottery, right? If somebody would treat...
Well, no. I mean, would you be willing to do violence or have violence done upon
I don't see how that would help the victims at all. Like I said,
it might stop. It might stop. It might.
Yeah, like I said, in a situation where this would be happening right in front of my face, where you would be kicking a cow to go into the slaughterhouse.
No, I mean, kicking a cow. I mean, honestly, I think, maybe you've watched too many vegan activist films, but I mean, ranchers aren't kicking cows on a routine basis.
Well, the cows aren't happily going into the slaughter chambers, are they? They don't want to be in confined dark spaces, so you have to push them in there. So that's just a lie. The cows are not happy when you take away their child on average. The cows do not want to go onto the trucks where they're crammed in, where they look out with their sad little cow eyes crying tears. The cows don't want to go down the slaughter chamber. The cows actually move their head when you put a bolt gun on their head. even though they don't understand the situation, it's nothing comfortable for them. So even if it's not kicking, it's pushing, it's using electrocution, it's violence, it's cutting throats open, it's
look,
pushing.
listen, I don't
the
disagree
pigs
that an
are
animal
not
does not
going
wanna
into
die.
the gas
Listen,
chambers
Raphael,
because they want to go there.
Can we have a discussion, or is it just going to be you shouting the whole time?
Yeah, I answered your question. So would I stop someone?
Let me give you. Yeah. Do you care to hear my perspective, or just for
you asked me a question? No? You said some things that were simply false, like nobody is kicking cows, and then I begged to differ, and I showed you a couple of examples.
Voldemort, I'm glad you're here, and I encourage you to stick around and subscribe and drop into future streams. I encourage you to have an open mind as well. You can think of it as like you've spotted some technicality that you can get a vegan on. We'll watch sometime Earthling Ed's documentary on YouTube about factory farming. And just really look inside yourself and say, do I think this is okay? It's not about, winning or losing a debate ultimately. This is good fun, but you're on the wrong side of history, I hate to tell you. Just try and have a bit of reflection, look inside, and your answer might be, okay, I don't feel okay with this, I don't think this is okay. And I don't feel that I can right now stop eating meat. That's a lot of people come to that kind of view. I think that is more honest than trying to justify and come up with technicalities. Right? Just really, look within and reflect. I'm saying this without judgment, right? Just I encourage you to think about what kind of world you want to see.
Examples where, of course, animals are suffering, where, of course, they're treated like slaves, like commodities, because no animal wants to be in these industries where you put them in. No animal wants to be.
Let me hang on.
Wants to be meals.
Let me just show you, just maybe enlighten you a little bit, maybe. So if we look at ruminant animals, like cows, deers, and things like that, if we look at, for instance, the domestic cattle in the United States, so a cow born in captivity or enslavement, as however you want to call it, in the United States, has about a 98% chance of making it to adulthood, where it will be probably killed about the age of 2, typically, maybe 3 years if it's grass finished, right? Now, when you compare that to wild ruminant animals, and they've done studies on this, University of Pennsylvania did a study on that looking at white-tailed deer, and they found that about 56% of white-tailed deer never make it to 32 weeks because they are viciously attacked and destroyed by predators. They are frozen to, they starve to death. They get injuries and die. So let me ask you, what would they rather choose? Would a baby deer rather choose to live to 2 years old and then be instantly killed, or would it rather be viciously mauled and just ripped apart by a bear at 12 weeks? What do you think is the better decision? If you're speaking for the animal, what would that animal decide?
Once again, I can say I will answer your question. However, this is once again a false dichotomy, because you wouldn't open up that line of questioning when it comes to shooting and eating wild humans or shooting and eating wild dogs. You would not. There are wild human tribes. They probably don't live as long as we do, because we have hygiene, we have vaccination, we have medical supplies. That's no reason to go and shoot wild living human tribes, is it? It's the more a reason to use our responsibility as the technologically advanced species to protect the weaker ones, and not a justification to go and slaughter them to our satisfaction all the time. So, but of course, I can concede and give you this point and say, yeah, if I were to choose, would I rather have a great life in freedom and human protection and then be shot and probably suffer way less in the death than a wild animal does throughout their life? Yes, but that is not the dichotomy that we are facing. We can actually help animals in the wild, not shoot them up, get it to a point where animal rights violations are minimized, and in the same space not systematically breed more life, more suffering, more animals as slaves, and also shoot them up and create more animal rights violations that way. So that is, like I said, not the question that we are facing in everyday life. You can literally be a vegan from now on, Shawn Baker, and you're simply choosing not to because yum yum, taste, I want to eat cow butt.
Do you think, let me ask you a question. Why do you think meat tastes good to most humans?
Why do you think fast food tastes good to most humans? You're probably running the line of reasoning right now. We are environmentally, traditionally, we have evolved that way. It's perfect nutrition for us. All right. So if I find a food that tastes great, most toddlers like chocolate, that doesn't mean it's good for them. However, let's say it even has health benefits.
Let me ask you, how do you determine what a wild animal eats?
How do I determine? I look at their dietary tract and I look at their nutritional needs. And yes, I can also feed cats a vegan plant-based diet. No, that does not mean that they only get carrot sticks and salad leaves. That would be animal abuse. But there's actually nutritionally fortified vegan cat and dog food that gives them all the nutrients. Now, let's say you want to run down the line of reasoning right now that we are not 100% what's herbivore. I'm gonna give you that. We are not. We have like a weird mush system of carnivorous traits and non-carnivorous traits. I'm not gonna stand here and be the spiritual vegan of every piece of meat is gonna make you sick and we are herbivores. Sorry, you run into the wrong militant vegan if you wanted me like this on the podcast. I'm not gonna give you this line of reasoning to attack me here. We have the opportunity to be as healthy. I'm not even gonna say healthier as some vegans do. With a plant-based diet, we can grow all muscles that we need on a plant-based diet. There are vegan sports experts and whatever. And even if it were the case that we would be 10% less healthy on a vegan diet, we wouldn't justify slaughtering and holocausting a certain kind of human group just to be 10% healthier. My health is not a justification to systematically enslave others. That is just not, and it's just what you're doing with animals. But then again, like I said, we probably don't even have a detriment of health choosing a vegan diet. So we're really just doing it out of 4 reasons: tradition, habit, convenience, and taste. And none of these 4 reasons is a justification for your murder and slavery, Shawn.
So there are many, 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 many thousands and thousands. I've met many of them. Ex-vegans.
Anecdotal claims.
They thought they were ethically similar to you, had similar beliefs to you. They got sick enough that they were suffering. And I see people sick and suffering every day as a physician. Yeah. And by including animal products back in their diet, it brought them health.
Yeah, I could say the same thing. You know, Shawn, I, as a physician, I saw many, pardon? Pardon?
I don't think you're a physician. Are you a physician?
I am a physician. I am a physician. Yes. I studied medicine in Munich, and I worked as a medical doctor for 2.5 years, and now I am an animal rights activist. So yeah.
Damn, he wasn't ready for that. Yeah, and as she's pointing out, right, you're just fighting with anecdotes. He's just talking about his own anecdotes here. When the evidence is that people on vegan diets have consistently better health outcomes. Now, I'm sure if I was to bring this up to him, right, we have long-term prospective cohort studies showing large groups of people over long periods of time and vegans having better health outcomes than omnivores consistently. I'm certain that he could tell me all of the problems with epidemiology. Any epidemiology haters in chat? Looking at you, Voldemort's turban. But what's higher up the hierarchy of evidence between epidemiology versus anecdotes? A lot of the people who seem to be able to tell all of the problems with epidemiological evidence very frequently seem to be appealing to much weaker forms of evidence. So don't let anybody tell you about the problems with epidemiology if they're appealing to stuff much lower down the hierarchy of evidence, right? Nutrient density, bioavailability, ultra-processed foods. People can talk all day about these kind of things, and if you say, well, vegans always have better health outcomes, consistently have better health outcomes than epidemiological evidence, they say, well, that's epidemiology. As if they're not citing much weaker evidence. So, weak evidence cited here, weak debate performance, weak man.
Yeah, I as a physician...
What was your specialty?
I worked for 1.5 years in general medicine and heart and lung, and then we did
you're a pulmonologist?
No, in Austria and Germany it's called Innere Medizin, so it's a combination of gastrointestinal, heart and lung, everything inside.
Internal medicine.
Sorry, I don't know the English terms. And it's you have like a double residency. When you first start, you have to run through all of this again, and then I did pathology for 8 months. So I wanted to be I wanted to start
Why did you abandon that?
Because I thought that my my impact as a doctor in this totally fucked up medical system that you're also criticizing, but from the wrong angle, just to point that out here, is not as good and is not as effective, even to help humans, than it is when I help the most urgent Holocaust, the most urgent ethical, terrible position that we have when it comes to the animal rights violations on this planet. So I realized when I was a doctor, just like you, suffering, we all suffer. It's terrible, no matter the age, no matter the skin color. And I saw the same suffering, just like you probably do with your dogs, if you would be honest here. They suffer.
What a beast, by the way. Imagine finishing medical school, being in the early stages of a medical career, being a qualified doctor, pretty well-paid, well-respected profession, right? You've got a good career rolling out in front of you. You've done the hard work of getting there. And switching up because you realize that you can have more impact by being an animal activist, which, by the way, what a risk. She didn't know that she was going to be able to sustain herself doing this. Right, she's walked away from a very well-established and lucrative career to help animals, which was a total risk, and almost certainly makes less money now than she did as an MD. That's a real mark of character, really. She is very, very good at this, which I don't know how much of this she was doing at the same time as still being an MD. But it seems like it would be a real loss for animals if this person wasn't advocating for them.
Suffer when they get sick.
My dogs are happy. My dogs are healthy and happy.
I mean, of course, but if they stub their toe, or if they are hit by a car, or if somebody attacks, or if they get a disease, dogs will get sick too, you know? And that suffering is the same suffering that we see in humans. And when I realized, I don't want that anymore. So, but to get back to your claim before, so I can say the same anecdotal thing when it comes to I, as a doctor, saw suffering of people who had heart attacks and strokes. And let's be honest, most people do get that from what they eat. And then they started.
Vegans die of strokes.
They do too. They do too.
Right. He knows, I'm sure he knows, at a lower rate, right? What's the rate of dying of heart disease and cancer and strokes for vegans versus non-vegans? Is at a lower rate, right? Again, is he being obtuse or is he just an idiot?
Too, but they do significantly less. Anyways, let's just say I could make the same anecdotal claim here and say
he said that's not true. Okay, so maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't know it, or maybe he thinks he's got an argument again. Maybe they'll discuss it.
But then everyone turned a plant-based diet, not vegan. There's a difference between plant-based eating and veganism. Moral stance, diet, veganism, not diet. But it doesn't work. You know, that's not the question.
What do you tell the person who tried veganism for many years, got very sick, and could not could not recover their health with veganism. What should those people do?
Yeah, so veganism, like I said, is not a diet. It's an ethical decision to not treat animals as commodities, as slaves. Now, in my study of medicine, and in probably yours too, there was not a single disease that I've learned from where it is adamant to eat dead bodies or secretions of animals. There just isn't. Now, there are people, and I'm going to give you that too, who don't flourish on a whole food plant-based diet, who have
No, I'm sure he would have been very quick to interrupt and say, no, well, actually, if he had an example, he would say, no, there's this disease. No interruption, no offering of an example, just appealing to vaguely this might happen.
allergies. And like with all people, when they have some kind of allergies or nutritional, I don't know, maybe a part of their gut has been taken out, then they have more problems digesting fiber. We need solutions for these people. We need to help them.
What should we do? What should we do now?
Just like with cancer, just like very ill cancer patients cannot digest foods very well. They can't either. And we have food drinks, we have protein drinks, we have allergy foods. I know severely allergic people who still understand that no matter how many allergies I have and how many problems I have digesting, I cannot go into your house, Shawn, and shoot up your dog and eat his leg, because this dog has a right to his leg and to his body just as much as any human does, just as much as you do. Just because I lose an arm, I cannot cut off your arm. We have to help these people. We have to find solutions. And there are many solutions. Like I said, there is most people who said, I tried vegan, it didn't work. They did not actually look into solutions. They didn't look into what suddenly caused them headaches. There are many reasons for that. They didn't look into what caused them weight loss, etc., etc. There are fat vegans, there are thin vegans.
Why should it be so complicated though? Why should nutrition be so darn hard? Then
we are sadly in a society that is overloaded with all kinds of fast food, and the default of the society isn't healthy. So anyone who grows up in this society sadly has to look very strongly at what they put into your body. Just like you do. Like, it's not the default to just eat steak like you do. So obviously it's also hard for you, as you say. You can't run with the default.
I mean, how many foods do you need to eat to stay healthy? How many times?
It doesn't matter how many I have to eat. I have to get nutrition. That's the whole thing. Like, you need to get all the nutrition, just like cats and dogs need to get nutrition, but you can get it from a plant-based diet. Now, if I can get all nutrition from a plant-based diet, and like I said, animals, there's no significant difference to them. There's no fucking justification to cut them up. And even if there were the problem, it wouldn't be a justification.
Hey, Raphael, I certainly concede there are successful vegan bodybuilders that you can construct a plant-based diet so you can put on muscle, that you can be healthy. If you add enough leucine in there, you can do that. Not everybody's successful at that, unfortunately.
Not everybody's successful at being healthy as a non-vegan either.
I wish it were the case that we could all eat vegan chocolate cake and be super healthy. That would be great. That would be
That's
wonderful.
not about eating vegan chocolate cake. It's about not using animals as slaves.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be pretty cool if that were the case, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, we can probably...
Such a dumb move. It's like throws off a straw man and she says, oh, that's not what I'm saying. He goes, well, that'd be kind of cool though. Oh my goodness.
Do that for everyone. It just depends on what you put in the cake, because you can either make a cake batter very fatty and very processed, or you can actually make a cake batter from fucking vegetables and put in a little bit of cocoa powder. Look, like I said, we have to find solutions for these 1% of people who seriously have digestive issues, whose guts have been taken out because of, I don't know, some kind of ulcerative disease like Crohn's or colitis ulcerosa, or have a lot of allergies.
Crohn's disease is... You know, there's 3 million Americans.
Yes, I'm not saying that it would be easy for every single person, but eating generally isn't easy for every single person. And we have medical systems for that. We have help for that. Now, we can help these people not use animals as slaves, but we have to, as people who don't have problems with that, first of all, set the moral baseline of fucking veganism, and then we will find solutions for that. But I cannot eat black people because some white people are sick. Can I? So why can I eat cows because some white people and black people are sick?
Hang on a second. Let me give you a second. I want to just put another thing. I'd love to hear your responses, because, you know, I eat animals. I know what's on my plate. I know an animal died for that. Now, obviously, you probably know that throughout much of agriculture, there's a lot of sentient creatures that are being killed to harvest crops, to due to the pesticides that are sprayed and utilized through. So your diet, maybe you're specifically, you're very conscious, but the average person eating a non-animal diet is going to be exposed to a whole lot of death in the food. I mean, we allow bug parts per million in their food, so we're killing things regardless. You know, I mean, that how do you justify that? What is your thought on that?
So
because
what's the argument?
You know, we kill like 4 quadrillion insects every year to plant crops in the United States alone. 4 quadrillion, which is a holocaust.
I know you like saying big numbers. You're doing great. What's the argument that the total amount of deaths is going up when we eat a plant-based diet over a non-plant-based diet? Like I said,
well, it depends on how it's done. I mean, like I said, if you did a diet where there were no pesticides and herbicides used, and you just killed one large animal, you would be responsible for less death than
but not even if you use pesticides. Can you formulate
even if it's less, even if it's more, so you're saying some's okay, but 10% more
Shawn,
is not okay.
Shawn, right? I didn't say anything until now. I asked you a question to formulate your argument, how the total amount of deaths is going up when we eat food that has even been sprayed with pesticides on that field. You already had a very embarrassing run-in with the Nutrivore and James Aspey when you came upon that question, and you also conceded to the contradiction at the end of the day. So you really want to go down the whole route of, you can...
We'll have to watch that one as well at some point, hey? I would be avoiding debates with vegans if I was this guy. Surely. I mean, I'm seeing here on my suggested videos, he's uploaded this. Or perhaps it was live. Like, is this the definition of shameless? Like getting embarrassed for an hour, conceding several times, running into several different contradictions, saying after 30 minutes tapping out and saying I lost the debate. Does his audience think this was a good performance?
Kill animals too?
Hey, Raphael, I apologize. We're running out. We only have like 2 minutes left. I really do have to.
Oh, yeah, I bet he's gutted about that. Not like he's been wasting time asking irrelevant questions, trying to run down the clock, desperately trying to get away from this conversation since about minute 5. Oh, I really do apologize. We're going to run out of time here. What a fucking embarrassment.
To go. I'm sorry. Hey, I'll tell you what. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate your passion.
We've got 2 minutes left, and then actually, you know what? We're gonna end it here. I don't think I could do another 2 minutes of this.
I disagree, obviously.
No, you don't. You said it's a contradiction, so you don't disagree. You don't.
You
conceded that I was right, that you cannot defend your position. You are just not taking the consequence from that, because that's the definition of ignorance and stupidity, realizing new information, conceding that you're living in a contradiction that's violent and the Holocaust, and not changing your matters. Everybody.
Yeah, how does he think that he can anyhow maintain a disagreement at this point? He literally conceded and said, I lost the debate.
Shawn Baker is part of the biggest Holocaust on this planet, and says that it's a contradiction.
Raphael, if I'm not willing to change, what should be done with me?
Yeah, you should. It should be illegal what you're doing, and you should be treated the same way that humans. That if you were eating and holocausting humans, you should be put in jail. You should be taught to be a better human being. Of course.
So you're advocating, because I'm not willing to change my position, I should be jailed and maybe executed or something like that.
No, I'm not for death penalty. I'm not for death penalty at all.
But maybe imprisonment, right?
Yeah, you should definitely be in prison to stop you from violating the rights of other people. Just like if I were to do the same thing with humans or these alien beings that I described to you before, you cannot run around and stuffing their bodies into your face holes. That should be illegal. You should be in jail. And I will be the reason for that being illegal. Speciesism has to end. It's just like racism towards animals. Not being vegan is not okay. And Shawn Baker is an animal abuser.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So I'm sure part of your motivation was to just get more publicity for what you do, and I'm happy to give that to you. So where do people go to find out more about the Militant Vegan? Where can they find you? You want to share your...
Has to impugn our motives as well. I get this all the time on LinkedIn. People say, oh, you're just doing this for attention. You're just doing this for clicks. Like, people don't understand. What else do you think might be motivating me? You can't conceive of caring about the suffering and well-being of others. You think, well, there must be some reason for this. Must just be for attention. Must just be for clicks. no possible way that you could actually be concerned about the suffering of others. That's it's projecting a really fucking selfish worldview. Right, literally no other way of understanding what must be this person's motivation. They must just be doing it for a turn. That's all I can think of why you would do this. It's a real self-report on your own kind of motivations and ways of thinking about the world. Just no care at all for the suffering of others. Doesn't cross the mind that that might be the motivation. It's such a self-report when people say this kind of thing.
Your social media, perhaps?
Yeah, of course, I do activism to reach more people with my activism. That's the definition of activism. Hi, I'm Raffaella. I am the Militant Vegan. You can find me in German on Die Militante Veganerin, where I have over 500,000 followers on TikTok. In English, I'm starting now. I'm the.militant.vegan on TikTok. Find me on YouTube as The Militant Vegan. I have been on Vegan Gains podcast a couple of times too. Please be vegan, not an animal abuser. Not being vegan is not okay. Greetings from Germany.
Well, there you go. Damn, that was a ferocious performance from the Militant Vegan. And a fucking embarrassing performance from Shawn Baker. Former Dr. Shawn Baker. Lost his medical license for, someone said in my chat earlier, but essentially being a fucking idiot. Oh yeah, questions regarding the legitimacy of his practice. Well, let's get the actual thing. Well, there's competency to practice, necessitating a clinical skills evaluation. Oof. I mean, I don't personally. I will say this. Personally, I don't think there are any questions about Shawn Baker's competence. I don't think there are any questions at all about that. And let's leave it there. Nice G2, I'll look out for it. Well, I gotta go, I'm afraid, guys. But thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys all being here. I'll probably upload this as a video because this was a good watch. And I'm sure Raffaella won't mind. I appreciate you guys being here. I will very likely stream over the weekend. Make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't done that already. And share this around, share the channel around. We want more people coming in next time. We're on the up. I've just done the application to live stream on TikTok as well, which I understand picks up a lot of people, potentially. So that'll be another place that we might catch some more people. And keep it vegan 2.0. Remember to give more, share more, and do more to help more animals. If you haven't done so already, action.thehumaneleague.org. Let's all speak up for animals over there. Give to animal charity evaluators, give to the EA Animal Welfare Fund, and share Vegan 2.0. Let more people know about it. We're at the start of this movement, and I appreciate you guys being amongst the first. I'll see you guys next stream. Thanks very much. Cheers.